Alright, what is up everybody and welcome back to Outdoor Talks. This is podcast episode number 6. I'm here with my co-host Jared Tuck.
Hey guys, I can see you now, or you can see me.
And also Elliott On.
What's up, fellas?
And Jared lives really far away, but he came up here to hang out for the weekend, just for a night. So we figured we'd do one together, because eventually we'd like to have these all recorded.
Right.
That's always what everybody wants, but we can't really do that too often just because we live so far away. But tonight we're going to have it recorded, and we're going to do one just for fun. But what have you guys been up to?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I do live kind of far away from them. We would like to have these in video form like you're seeing now. If you like this format a lot better, I'm sure you do, just so you can see us. This is the first time we've all been together to do one of these, so it's a little bit different than doing a regular podcast, but I'm sure it'll be just as much fun. But one of the people who watches my channel said down in the comment section that they would like to see a video cast or whatever, and they think that this would be cool in video form. So we're kind of tailoring that to what our subscribers have said, and also it's just something that we've really wanted to do. But again, like Hunter was saying, the logistics behind trying to record video while you're not with each other, it's just too hard to figure out. We might eventually figure out how to do it, but right now we're just going to stick to the voice podcasts, and then whenever we get a chance, in rare occasions like today, we'll do a video cast for you guys.
I agree.
Okay, so
let's get into the podcast. What have you guys been up to? Anything?
So last week I went to the Bassmaster Classic. This podcast is going to be uploaded way after that, and you guys have probably already seen the Bassmaster Classic or have watched, footage or compilation of fishing footage from pros that fished in it. But we're just still trying to figure out the whole podcast thing, so we wanted to record a bunch up front so we could be a little bit ahead, and that's why these podcasts are a little bit later. So if we're talking about the weather being warm, I think we did, or being cold. I think we talked about that in a couple podcasts, and it's probably warm by the time you guys are listening to this. But I went to the Bassmaster Classic. I had a lot of fun. It was the first time I ever went to a Bassmaster Classic. I thought it was a great experience being around people that love to fish, love to hunt. I actually had a couple guys there that were subscribed to my channel that recognized me.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. They waved me. It was kind of awkward. So they waved at me. They're probably watching this. But they waved at me, and I just kind of looked at them weird. And I went over there and gave them one of my cards. And they're like, yeah, we watch your videos. And I asked them where they were from. And they were from Southwest Virginia, near us, not too far, kind of down towards Emory. But they were really nice guys and just great people to talk to for a few minutes. But I didn't have long to talk to them. It was just I was really busy. But overall, I had a great time. I don't want to miss next year. I know that, just because it was so much fun being at an outdoors expo with so many people that love the outdoors. And a lot of the good pros were there, YouTubers were there. Just anybody you wanted to meet in the fishing industry goes to the Bassmaster Classic, just because it's the biggest fishing event of the year.
Did you meet anybody famous?
I met some really, I would consider them famous. They're not, I guess they're not celebrities, but to me they're celebrities, you know what I mean? They're pro fishermen. Like the Guggen squad that makes YouTube videos, they were there. I've met them before, so I didn't really want to get in the big long lines to meet them. I would have liked to see them again, but that wasn't my priority since I had already met them. So I kind of focused on meeting pros and stuff. And so I met Scott Martin, Jordan Lee, Roland Martin, just some great fishermen out there. Matt Lee, Jordan Lee's brother, Randy Howe. People who've won, Randy Howe won the Bassmaster Classic. These are some of the best fishermen on earth that I got to meet and just talk to them. Legends out there like David Fritz, he's like a crankbait master. I got to talk to him for a little while, so it was just really neat. Got to meet a lot of cool people. I handed out a lot of my cards, kind of solicited myself. I don't know if that was legal or illegal, but I solicited myself as much as I could just because I saw it as a networking opportunity, and so I did that. But I just got to meet a lot of people, and I had a great time. And they had some really good deals, heck of deals there. you could get fishing stuff for 50%, 75% off. It wasn't really percentage off, but they were running deals that by the time you factor up and do all the math, that's what it equated to.
Is it worth it to go on those things, you think? Because we don't really attend, like, us in general, like, I know all of you, but, like, speaking for all of us, we never really go to those things. Is it worth it? Should we go to, like, more? Like, Elliott and I have talked about flying to Las Vegas to go to SHOT Show. Like, you think, I mean, that's kind of crazy, like, far out, but is it worth it to go to something like that? Do you think? Was it worth it?
Well, I think it was worth it for me, just because I haven't experienced it before. And I think it's good to go just for the deals alone if you're really into fishing. Now, if you're someone who, I guess you just like to fish for fun, but you're not really interested in the pros and like how they're doing, I don't know how fun it would be for you. I still think it would be fun just because, I mean, you're around all these people who love fishing and they like hunting too, because that's just the type of people that were there. But I loved it. I love being around people that are like me. Just we have that common interest, so we could sit there and talk for an hour. I felt like I could talk to anybody that was there, and a lot of random people that I just sparked a conversation with and just got to know them, hand out some of my cards, like with my information on it on my YouTube. And so hopefully they're watching this right now.
Hopefully.
But I don't know. It may have worked, it may not have worked. But I think for us as people who are kind of like, well, at least Hunter and I are in the YouTube space a little bit, trying this out, I think for us it'd be a great opportunity to go to something like that, to meet new people, kind of get our name out there. Not because we want to dominate the fishing industry, but just because we want to know people within the industry to kind of give us some more opportunities in the future, maybe to help us out with our YouTube channels or give us some tips or something like that, because we need tips. I mean, we're new to this. I mean, I've had a YouTube channel for over 2 years now, but I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I've just now got used to the editing and things like that, but we're still not pros. I mean, we're just guys who like fishing and hunting and being outdoors, and that's why we created this podcast.
Just for fun. So that's kind of a sum up, and we've rambled on a little bit. So let's get into our first topic of today. And that's kind of, in our past podcast, we've talked about how much we love the outdoors and hunting and fishing, hiking, whatever it is. But we never really talked about what's bad about it. Can you guys think of a negative thing?
Gosh.
Like, is there bad to it?
There's good and bad to everything.
I'd agree with that.
Agree.
So, for hunting, I feel like the worst part about hunting is the...
Cleaning 12 rabbits.
No. Okay, that is terrible. The worst part about hunting is the amount of time you're sitting there doing nothing. Or at least
But that depends though, because you and Jared can't sit 5 seconds, and I think we've talked about this every single podcast. But you and Jared cannot sit 5 seconds without, but like some people just love to sit out there and relax. You could talk to some guys and they could just sit out there for 10 hours and not say a thing and have the best day of their life.
Yeah, but...
So that's kind of personal.
I guess it's kind of personal, but usually hunting seasons don't occur when the weather's really nice. Usually when you're sitting out there doing nothing, it's either freezing, windy, or rainy.
Man, I don't know though, because like... If it's like freezing and I'm hunting, I don't hunt a lot, but if it's freezing when I'm hunting, I feel like I have better odds of seeing a deer. I feel like, I'm sitting out here freezing cold, like I better see something. I don't know. I just feel like I'm going to get something. I guess it gets me excited. I don't know.
Right, but
it's definitely not
it's not fun.
It's not fun freezing cold.
But kind of like Jared said, don't you think that gives you a little more energy? Like, in a way, it almost gives you more energy.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't give you more energy. But, like, you're like, if I killed a deer right now, the story would be so much better than if it was 70 degrees and I was out here in a lounge chair sleeping and I woke up and shot one. Don't you think that makes a story? Like, it was snowy, it was 20 degrees, I didn't want to go. I went, I was freezing in the stand, and then after, like, 2 hours, I heard something coming from behind me, and all of a sudden, I could see tracks in the snow, and then this buck walked out.
Yeah.
Does that...
like the best thing.
Okay, hold on a second.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Guys. that has never happened.
Okay,
okay. Maybe
that has never happened ever.
Okay, maybe you can be sitting there and you're like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have any confidence that I was going to see anything. I was watching this squirrel up in a tree, and next thing you know, it drops an acorn, and the biggest buck I've ever seen in my life walks out. Or even just deer in general, like you're really not expecting to see anything, and then you see something crazy that you've never seen before. And It doesn't have to be a big deer. It could just be the way deer are interacting with one another. It could be maybe you see a bear for the first time, or just something new out there in the woods. Like that would really get me going. Like I don't know.
But what's
we're not talking about getting us going. We're talking about
negatives. But speaking of negatives, we went on a hike today. Me, myself, Elliott, and his girlfriend Stephanie, and Jared was actually touring a college earlier, so he didn't get here till later. But we were just going up this hill, and it just felt like forever, and it was difficulty hard, so it was just straight up.
On the All Trails app, we didn't decide it was difficulty.
No, it was like officially like named hard, and we were just dying going up. And I mean that seems like a negative at the time, but once you get to the top, it's like always worth it. So no matter how cold it is, if you kill that deer, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
If you kill the deer.
Yeah. So if you don't kill the deer, do you think it's not worth it?
You don't have fun if you go.
No, okay. I'm not saying I don't have fun. I'm just saying it's a negative. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to freeze to death.
No,
you don't like to not get a deer.
I don't like to not get a deer.
I don't like to not catch fish. I understand that.
So
what's a big negative to fishing then?
Well,
we talked about
I would say hunting. The negative. I haven't really prepared for this at all, but I typed all of these questions up. Hunter usually does the agenda, and I honestly put some questions on here that I don't really know the answer to.
They don't make sense.
But yeah, we got some really controversial stuff coming up here in a little bit. But anyway, I would say a negative to fishing and hunting is those people out there that are the, I guess, bad apples. That gets thrown around a lot. Bad. There's bad people in every group. But what I hate about fishing sometimes is I'll go to a place, go fishing, and it always like at the dam of like a lake or a pond, you will just see all of this fishing line, lures laying on the ground, night crawler boxes, tackle boxes, coolers, all kinds of just trash laying everywhere. And it just sits there, and like what I think about that, or when I see it, is it's like no wonder these people don't want, like private property, for example. People don't give permission for other people to fish their ponds and whatnot because that's what they think about fishermen, is because it's what they see. And they don't see the good fishermen out there. Rather, they see what's left behind from the bad fishermen who decide to litter and trash a place up.
Right. So I see what you're saying there. But see, next on the agenda you have, so like, how do we fix these problems? And that's a good question leading up to what we were just talking to. Because for hunting, for example, like Elliott was talking about, just wear more clothes. Like it's not hard to not be cold. You wear more clothes or you spend more money on buying an expensive box with a heater in it. Mm-hmm. Like that problem can be solved. Mm-hmm. And then when you're hiking, if you're in better shape, you're not going to get as tired going up, or you do it more often. But when it comes to fishing, you can't stop other anglers, like you just said, from littering the water. So
I think.
So how do you go about? Like, what do you think about that?
I don't think it can be stopped completely, but I think there are some ways. Like, for example, if you see a kid out fishing, like an 8 or 10-year-old kid fishing the pond or lake or whatever you're fishing, and you just set a good example. You know, maybe you lay down your cooler with drinks and your lunch. You lay it down on the bank. But then you make sure that you pick it up right before you leave, or you throw it away. Or maybe you pick up a ball of fishing line that you see laying on the ground that wasn't even yours, and it's clear that it wasn't yours, like it looks really old and stuff, and you just set a good example in front of others. And I think eventually maybe that'll pay off. I don't know. I like to be optimistic and think that that'll have an effect on that person too. But I think things like that, just do the best you can for yourself. You can't really change what other people are doing. I wouldn't recommend going out there and telling people, hey, pick up your trash, man. Like, what are you doing? Just don't be hostile. Don't create a hostile environment with other anglers. Right. That's never good in the first place. It's probably not good to tell people to pick up their trash. Maybe the better thing to do is if you see them leave a can or something, go pick up that can and just throw it away for them, because that'll help fishermen as a whole in the long run.
And that's something we can't really say for like hunting, because for example, especially us, we hunt on like private land more or less. Mm-hmm. We don't really hunt any national forest that much, so we don't really know. But even when you do hunt national forest, there's really not that much of a problem because not that many people do it, and it's so wide open. So with hunting, you don't really have that problem as much. But with hunting, more the problem is there's people that drive down a back road and decide to shoot a 12-pointer because they're just flooded with deer.
Right. Like, or they shoot from a vehicle, right. Or they're not safe with their guns. They don't know how, they'll point their guns at their friends while they're hunting and not even realize what they're doing. You
can look up videos of, like, people at the gun range just waving their... Like, it was not too long ago, Elliott sent me a video, and it was just some guy at the gun range, and it was like shooting, like the gun wouldn't fire, and he was just pointing at his hand and shooting and shot a hole through his hand. Like, how stupid can you be,
It's crazy. I mean, in hunting, there's bad apples with that too. But I guess there's two ways to approach this question, right? So Elliott kind of approached it from the mindset, like, what's negative about it for him? And I kind of took like a macro, broader approach, like what's bad about fishing and hunting in general. So I think if I kind of take Elliott's approach and think about the negatives to fishing, like on individual basis, I guess my answer is there is no negatives to fishing. I mean, yeah, it does suck not catching any fish. But
he loves the environment. He loves fishing.
Being out there fishing, even not catching anything, it's so much fun. I mean, I know some of you guys watching this, at least some of you, all my fishermen out there, they're backing me up right now watching this. They can relate.
They've went out there before and casted straight into a tree 7 times, hated their life, and went home.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I'm just a really optimistic person. But sometimes, like, even if you cast in a tree, you can get really frustrated.
I mean, he did just go to William & Mary for a law school event, so.
But then
he's pretty optimistic in his life.
You feel like, okay, I've cast in a tree 7 times. I just lost $80. I don't know. You just lost a bunch of money in lures or something. So you're like, well,
you just want to quit.
Well, no wonder I'm not catching any fish. I mean, I can't cast, and I need to learn how to cast better. So you get better at casting, and then you don't have that problem as much anymore.
Right. Well, if you guys ever did something like you were talking about all the bad things fishermen do, or just in general what hunters can do that's bad, or hikers or anybody, camping. Like, you just litter, anything. Have you guys ever done anything that was just, like, wrong that you want to admit to our 7 viewers? Like, I've been in a position before, like, fishing, for example, where that kind of happened. And, like, you hadn't had any bites all day, and then you lose 3 or 4 fish right in a row on the same lure. And, like, I've taken, like, a plastic lure and just threw it in the lake because I was mad before.
Right.
And I mean, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just in the moment, I was just mad.
Yeah, I've done that too. I try to use my better judgment now than I'm older. I did that a lot more when I was a kid.
Right, same when I was younger.
But I try to use the best judgment I can, but at the same time, I still do things that I probably shouldn't. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but I guess sometimes when there's other anglers out on the water, I always want to maximize my chances of catching fish. And it's not that I, like, cut those fishermen off or anything, but maybe I, go past them and get to a place where I want to go that's way ahead of them that they may have eventually got to, or they were planning to go there. But I didn't. It's not that I cut right in front of them, but maybe I went so far in front of them that they were going to eventually fish that, but I wanted to make sure I fished it before them. But I wasn't really doing it on purpose. I was just, like, thinking, I need to get there before they do. I don't know. Stuff like that. And again, throwing plastic lures in the water. I think littering is a big problem with fishermen. That's why it was the first negative thing I said, is because I just think it's a big problem. I see it everywhere I go. And I'm honestly tired of it. Just seeing fishermen must be the worst people who litter at these lakes and stuff, because at the lakes I go to, there's all these people that are there like for recreation or picnicking and stuff like that. But it's not food that you see laying on the bank. It's night crawlers and it's fishing tackle. It's not Subway, you know. And
yeah, well, I mean, like we've talked about before, Elliott doesn't fish a lot, but he can attest to that. Anytime we've ever went fishing, you almost always see like a pack of night crawlers or something,
or plastic worms, you know, like
just something.
The styrofoam white, you know, the styrofoam white
for live bait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, always see those.
But that's frustrating. I'm sure we've all done things that we're not proud of.
Even when you're hiking and you just cut straight up the mountain because it's faster.
Right. It's like one of those things where you're thinking in the moment. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, exactly.
Like you're thinking in the moment. So I mean, we're kind of opportunistic. So like if we see an opportunity to shoot at a deer, we're gonna take that opportunity. Because we're in the moment too, but then after it happens, we're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And so I think everybody does that, but I guess the way that we solve all those problems is just try to use the best judgment you can. You can only use the best judgment that you have. So, I mean, just go out there and just do the best you can and help, like, set an example. That's my biggest thing. Just set an example for everyone else. Don't point your guns at your friends. And even if you're doing it by accident, realize that you're doing it by accident. And that is something that you definitely should, like I was saying, don't call out other fishermen for littering. You usually shouldn't call out other fishermen in general. But if you're doing something like pointing guns at people, like you need to call someone out. Like tell them, you know, hey, like you're pointing your gun at me, or hey, you're pointing your gun at your friend. Maybe you should hold it a little bit differently. Try to be nice about it because the person has a gun. But yeah, so just try to not make it a bad situation, but still, you should definitely call them out in that situation, I think.
Well, I mean, because with that kind of being said, you talked about like what we shouldn't do, but in a way that's kind of perspectival, because like vegans, for example, think it's bad for us to kill deer, and that's what you have on like our next kind of topic we want to move into.
This is good.
Is Jared came up with the question. This is really controversial, but he said, with vegans on the rise and environmental groups becoming more and more popular, do you think that hunters, fishermen, environmentalists, and vegans can get along? If so, how so? And that kind of lead into that good, because you talked about the negatives and everything, but despite the negatives, we still love to be out there. But there are people saying we are wrong, we are stupid, we are not doing justice, we are absolutely like doing harm.
So, as a political science major in college and stuff, just like someone who studies politics, you know, in order for people to get along in general, I think that, you know, hunters and vegans and environmentalists, and I think for the most part, environmentalists and hunters and fishermen, they get along. I mean, that's like an alliance. I mean, I consider myself an environmentalist for sure, and I definitely want to do the best I can to conserve nature. And I'm not a vegan, but while I'm not a vegan, I can at least understand where someone's coming from, or why they're a vegan. I'm willing to listen to why they're vegan, and I'm not necessarily agreeing with it if they're vegan solely on moral or ethical grounds, but I'm willing to listen to it. I'm not going to tell them that they're completely wrong, even if they tell me that I'm completely wrong. And so in order to get along with other people, you need to at least be able to hear the other side. And so I think that's a big thing, is just hearing the other side. And I think if you do hear the other side, you'll realize, oh, like, they're not as crazy as what I thought. Or maybe they'll realize, like, oh, like, we're not as crazy as they thought we were. So I think that's just the biggest thing with this. But at the same time, it's pretty polarized. I mean, these like vegans, for example. I mean, I'm not vegan. I don't want to speak for people who are vegans. I doubt there's any vegans watching this, but I'm sure you know people who are vegan. And so it's polarizing, because these people are like, you know, we don't eat any animal products at all, not even eggs, which are not harming the animal, they're just using the eggs. But at the same time, like, there's reasons for not eating the eggs because they feel like the animals aren't being treated fairly at the farms and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes sense. But at the same time, I think there's another side to it. But, yeah, I think just hearing out the other side is the main thing. But I don't know if they can ever just get along because, you know, hunters, they have strong opinions. Or hunters and fishermen, they have strong opinions generally. And vegans have strong opinions generally too. And so, I don't know. It's a hard question. Yeah. That's why I said I made these questions, but I don't know the answers to them. I just wanted to talk about something new.
You did have a really controversial list going on here.
Yeah, it kind of skips around. It's very controversial, but that's good. But Elliot, you haven't said much so far. What do you think? Can vegans and hunters get along? Like, should they get along? Or should they dispute their differences? Because a lot of people think it's good for controversy. Like, not everybody can agree the same thing, or life would just be blah. Like, what?
So,
give us your onion.
Onion. Don't we have onions anywhere?
In there, right there.
No, my onion is, you should always respect somebody's opinion, like, regardless.
Yeah.
No matter how you feel about their opinion, you might think they're an idiot. But you should always respect it because
I remember that.
No, you're an idiot. No, you should. You
don't respect my opinions. I'm joking.
You should always respect someone's opinion. Yeah. You should never call them out on anything because
we just had a quick technological issue. But what were you saying, Elliot, about vegans and hunters getting along?
I didn't know the other day what the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian was.
You did?
My roommate had to tell me.
Okay. Well, okay, we just need. Let's move on to the next question.
No, okay, hold on a second. No, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it.
Okay. Right. We can lead into the next one.
So,
it goes long.
I think vegans and hunters and environmentalists can get along. I think everybody should respect each other's opinions.
Right.
We should all listen to each other's opinions. But we shouldn't be so self-confident that we have the right opinion.
Right.
We shouldn't feel that I'm right, you're wrong.
Be skeptical of everything, even your own opinions, and listen to what others have to say.
Be open-minded.
And still be skeptical of what they have to say.
Be open-minded, but stay true to who you are with it.
Exactly. Like we need to quote that and just like put that in front of everything. Like last 20 seconds was just like amazing. Exactly.
Yeah, be assertive.
That's what we're about.
Be assertive, but hear others out.
Yeah.
Right.
So
stay true to yourself.
When somebody's giving you the work for going hunting, listen to them.
Yeah, don't fight them.
Don't fight them. Just listen to them, and don't say anything about it. But just keep in mind their opinion and let them think.
And there's probably going to be times when they won't listen to you. That's a situation that you should probably just end the conversation and walk away.
Exactly. Jared's right.
And he's speaking from experience because, like, a little background on this, we kind of have the same beliefs, but when it comes to politics, all of us kind of disagreed in a different way. And when we were, like, say 5 years ago, when we were in high school, we used to, like, be complete polar opposites. And in no way, shape, or form would we hear each other's argument. Right. We didn't care what each other had to say. Yeah. We just thought Jared was dumb. Or Elliot was dumb.
Jared is dumb.
We just did not care. But now, kind of like we're talking about, you learn to get to the point where you're right. You should respect others' opinions.
Right.
And you should listen to them because not everything in life you're right about.
Right.
And you should always listen.
But that goes the same for the vegans. Listen to us.
Exactly. He's right. Everybody should respect and listen.
Don't just think we're idiots.
But like Elliot said a few minutes ago, just stay true to yourself, but never be afraid to be open to somebody else's opinions.
So you want to move on to the next question now?
Yes,
let's
go.
Yeah, the next question's good. The next question's good.
I'm really getting this controversial for everyone.
See, okay, this question...
I shouldn't have created the agenda.
No, Jared's bad for this agenda. But this question is good. I think we can literally talk about this forever.
Yeah, we can do one podcast on this
thing. So, are you guys ready? I'm sure. Drum roll, please. Anyway. Alright, so, is hunting purely for sport, morally acceptable in your opinion? Why or why not? If sport hunting is acceptable in your opinion, can you think of an instance when it is unacceptable? And where do we draw the line between unethical and ethical when it comes to sport hunting?
Oh gosh, this is spicy. Can I
Go ahead.
Can I hit the first baseball?
Hit the first
so
pitch.
is hunting, when you hunt for sport, morally acceptable? Okay.
We might disagree on this. I don't know. This
No.
is cool. We've never talked about
we've
this.
never talked about this in person.
I don't think hunting morally for sport is acceptable at all. I don't think it is good in any shape, form, way, whatever. If you were just killing something and bagging it for a trophy, I think that is wrong.
I agree with that. I don't think it's right. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay, so we're all on the same page so far.
So, like, when people go to Africa and only kill animals for sport, I feel like that is horrible.
Yeah.
But
agree.
When someone goes to let me set a situation. Hunter and I kill like 6 deer this year. We have more meat than we need, but we still want like a 10-pointer. But when we kill our 10-pointer,
we give the meat away.
See, that's when I think it gets a little like in the gray area.
Right, it gets gray.
Right.
I agree with that. I think the question should be more, maybe the question's got a flaw. Maybe the question should be like, how much reason do you have, or how much of a, or what kind of reason do you have for hunting? So like, if you go to Africa and, kill whatever.
Like a zebra or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what you hunt in Africa.
A zebra. You're doing it for fun, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah, zebras.
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you hunt zebras?
Yeah,
comment below.
If you've ever hunted a zebra, we're not hating on you. We're just giving our opinion.
Be respectful.
Refer to the previous 2 minutes.
hey, and comment below why you think hunting for zebra purely for fun is acceptable.
Okay,
yeah. And we'll listen and we'll reply. But
exactly.
Okay. So what was I saying?
Hunting about zebras.
Oh man, I forget.
This is too fun to get. This is we usually like FaceTime.
Yeah. So like, this is awesome. Yeah, this is really cool. But like, how much reason, I think is what I was saying. Like, so if you're hunting in Africa just for fun, then you have no reason at all. Like, you're just doing it for fun.
Hold on a second.
Your pleasure is your reason.
But who is to say whose reason is more important?
I mean, that's true. I mean, this is all opinionated. So, I think the line's very hard to draw, and this question's very hard to answer, but we're just gonna kind of give some more dialogue on it, I guess. It's hard. I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah, it kind of goes to what Elliott just said, and who's really right, and that kind of comes into play in like a huge way, because when you think about it, like philosophical or ethical, whatever you want to like consider it, like really, whose right is it to say what's right or wrong?
Right.
But that's like really, really deep.
Yeah.
But when you think of like as a society or a country or wherever you're at, like morally, what's known to people is that you just don't kill for fun.
Right. And I think, all hunters can agree with us. Like, we all agreed on that. Like what you said, Elliott. I agree. I completely agree. There's nothing else to say about it. And Hunter agrees too. That's what you said. I think all hunters agree on that, but the people who are outside of the hunting realm, they don't think that hunters think that. They think that hunters think that it's purely fine. And that's kind of why I wanted to put this in the podcast, was because I wanted to let you guys know that, I assume that you guys would answer that way, because no one is going to sit there and say, or at least, well, maybe someone.
No one wants to kill to kill.
Well, okay, I have a question for you guys. Just saying that right there. So, I know people, or like I've heard of people that go to Africa that want to kill, like, for example, like, I don't think it's a zebra, but say a zebra, or they want to kill a giraffe,
right,
or a huge antelope, and they want to do it just to say they've done it, but they donate the meat to a local village. Is that wrong? They're not doing it because they want to donate the meat.
Right.
They do it because they want to kill the animal and get the trophy.
All right.
But okay, they know it's wrong just to do it, so they donate the meat.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
Would they do it if you couldn't donate the meat?
No.
Then then I see that. I feel like that's very
good enough reason.
I feel like that's very like if they would do it and they wouldn't donate the meat, I feel like that's almost wrong. But since they can donate the meat and they will do it and they know it's helping somebody else,
but their initial goal is just to kill a big animal.
For a personal accomplishment.
But if they won't do it and
if they won't do it because they can't donate meat.
Because they know it'll go to waste. Because they know it's wrong. I feel like that's where it gets shady.
But it's okay. It's still okay, but it's shady.
Okay, so I think it still depends. I mean...
No, I agree with you.
Whatever circumstance you're in. So if you're in Africa and there's this... I've never been to Africa. I don't know.
Okay, we're using Africa as a very bad example.
No. It's a great example.
Because the lions are huge in Africa.
There's a ton of animals there that we don't know anything about. And I think the reason it's a good example is because people go to Africa and hunt a lot. And there's poachers that go to Africa. Mm-hmm. And so I think it would be wrong if you went into, I know there's tribes and stuff in Africa, and like if you went into like a village where their culture was one of these animals was sacred to them, and then you just killed one, and even if you're donating the meat, you just killed an animal right in front of their village, like, and you're some foreigner. You know what I mean? You're nothing.
I doubt you'd donate the meat to them.
You wouldn't donate the meat to them. I'm not saying you're donating the meat to them. I'm just saying maybe you're donating the meat to someone else, but you're going into their village and doing it, or not near their village.
Well, I mean,
and they can witness it.
I feel like that would be wrong.
That's really wrong. In my opinion,
that'd be wrong.
Anyway, I think let's we've kind of all agreed on the overall question, but I have another question, and it's not on the agenda. So do you think that trophy hunting, so whenever I go out hunting and I see a doe and I let it walk, I see a spike, I let it walk, I see, a 6-pointer, I let it walk, I see an 8-pointer, I let it walk, is me choosing to kill only the 12-pointer or only the 11-pointer, is that wrong? Because I could have easily killed
the doe. And gave the meat away.
Right. Say the 12-pointer was 200 yards away in a hard shot, and the doe was 15 yards away at the same exact point in time. You have those deer right in front of you. I think most every hunter out there is going to shoot at the 12-pointer.
Right.
But is that okay?
Well, Jared,
it's hard when you say it like that because it seems bad.
I'm trying to make it seem bad.
Let's be honest.
That's a good idea.
We've never had the opportunity to let a spike walk.
Well, we did.
I've let a spike walk.
Going back to everything we said earlier, if there was a doe, so like I just said, that deer was over 200 yards. Clearly, we didn't range find it until later, but it was
like a doe we could spit on right beside us.
If a doe was 30 yards away from it, would either of you looked at? I wouldn't have.
All right,
I would not have looked at the doe.
I think this
probably
question
is that not sport?
But
is that not sport?
Why it is sport? But why do we think that way? Why do we go to this like? Why do we think that killing a buck is a good thing?
TV.
You think it's TV?
Right. It's just in general. Like growing up from a kid. Your parents always taught you, like, if you catch a 10-pound bass...
Because it's rare.
Is it rare?
Well, to kill
one,
a big buck, yeah, it's rare.
Is it? I know a ton of people that have killed big bucks.
But you know a ton of people who could have killed way more does.
They could have
shot the 7 does before they saw the 10-pointer.
Right, maybe they got lucky one time and did see the big buck first, but most of the people who are killing big deer, they're putting the effort in, and they're seeing a lot of smaller deer first.
Okay, well, I mean, since we're on this topic, is it wrong? So, kind of what we've been talking about. So, you put time in, you put effort in, you go, say, deer season or heavy core fishing season, whatever it is, you go 9 months ahead of time. Say you're going in like January.
Right.
And you're planting, you're doing this, you're scouting, you're cutting trails, you're doing everything. You're preparing for the season 9 months away. And you go back every week or two. And you're putting in work. Is that sport? Is that wrong? To put in work to see the 10-pointer or to put in work in your personal pond so you can catch the bass? Is that wrong? If you put in work and work and work and your intention isn't just to kill for fun, your intention is to kill for fun and use the meat,
Right.
But you let the doe walk.
Right. Like
you prep your land.
I see what you're saying.
You want the 10 points.
So you're
Is
saying.
that wrong?
So you're saying.
Because that's for sport.
Right. So
you're hunting for horns.
I understand where you're going with this. So you're saying like. Maybe I'm altering the way that the deer are, like, say the deer were never coming through my property wasn't, the deer didn't think my property was good habitat, so they weren't coming through my property. And so I changed my property and made it to where it was a good habitat. Is that right? Like changing the habitat so they come
for
through?
Sport, because you're not changing it to kill a doe, you're changing it to kill a big buck.
I think it's fine, but I don't.
See, when I talk about this, I run the risk at being hypocritical.
Okay.
Right.
And like,
I mean, we're hypocritical all the time. We're humans.
So I've never hunted for horns. I've never had the opportunity. So I've never been in a situation where I've seen bucks.
Right.
So
I can agree with that. No, that goes for both of us.
No, like Hunter and I, where we hunt, we don't see bucks. We see we see a 3-point, we see a spot, we see a 4-pointer.
Right.
We see.
Hunter's not point about them being rare though.
Hunter, well, yeah, I'm not disputing your rare point. Okay. Hunter and I see usually
those.
Besides this deer season,
they're even more rare for Hunter and me. Sorry.
We see does usually. On a normal deer season, we see does at the farm pretty regularly.
Every day.
Right.
Okay. We usually have no problem taking meat. And Hunter and I,
we kill for meat.
We all three of us kill for meat. Like, our families eat all the meat. Like, Hunter and I's freezer right now
has all kinds of deer.
All kinds of deer.
Literally right there behind the camera.
If we haven't killed any this year, we don't care if it's a button buck, spike, or whatever. We shoot it.
Because we use it.
Right.
Hunter and I eat deer meat on a weekly basis. Right. Do you not think?
Yeah,
but
we eat deer
there's
meat.
A lot of trophy hunters out there that would that would hate you for killing a button buck.
All right, well, we'll take this for example. So what I was just thinking about, we were talking recently. The people that are in the position to kill a trophy buck or a big buck. Mm-hmm. Get enough meat every year. That's the same Elliott and I. So the way Elliott and I hunt, we don't have big bucks. We just kind of we don't have any specific very good place. So we hunt and say on average, usually we kill 2 to 3 deer a year. So we have meat in the freezer. Well, these people that say are sport hunting or trophy buck hunting,
right?
They usually kill 3 huge bucks a year, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So the same we do. But we know for a fact, more or less, the chance of us getting 2 to 3, some sort of deer, no matter horns, gender, anything,
right?
We can get 2 to 3. Well, those people who have the land, they put in the work, they did everything. People say they're sport hunting. They know for a fact, like we do, they can get 2 to 3 big enough bucks every year to kill. Yeah. So are they wrong for getting the exact same amount of meat if they know they can?
I don't think so. I don't think if you're killing a button buck, I don't think you're in the wrong. If someone's out there killing trophy bucks, I don't think they're in the wrong either. I mean, I think hunting in general is fine. And, I didn't mean to say that so broadly. But, this type of hunting that we're speaking about, for the most part, is usually ethically acceptable in my opinion.
Right.
And so if someone's choosing to kill a button buck, or they're choosing to kill a trophy buck, I can understand why those people who trophy hunt, I can understand why they get mad at you for killing a button buck, and I can understand why people get mad at the trophy hunter for only killing the big bucks, because, those are the best for the genes.
It's all about perspective.
Those are the best for the genes too, to even make more bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know,
this is a hard topic.
It's a really hard.
It really is all about perspective, because if you're from somewhere where you only see bucks, you'd say, well, they're stupid if they just quit killing them for 5 years and did this and this to the land and
the small deer
and blah 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 blah. Then they could kill big bucks.
But if we
Elliott and I's land, if we didn't do that,
we'd have no deer.
We'd have no deer for 5 years.
We'd have no
And then we don't know if it'd work. We've never just put out food and put in work and had 300 acres to play with. Like,
it's
all about perspective.
But yeah, and then it is about perspective because the people watching this that may take a different approach, they might be like, well, if you've never tried it, then you need to go try it.
But can we give up 5 years of not killing deer? Like,
right, because
I don't want to do that.
I think another thing that makes this morally acceptable is you can't buy deer meat in
Jared,
Food City.
Well, Jared, Hunter and I haven't bought ground beef since we've
been born.
Yeah,
since we've been born.
I mean, really? Like,
no,
I've never
we
bought
don't buy ground beef.
Right.
We use deer meat, and all for as long as I can remember, we've used.
But it's also about the sport. How much does it cost you to buy a archery license? Tell me.
Oh,
off the top of your head, roughly.
$15.
All right, what's it cost you to buy a muzzleloader license?
Another $15.
It ends up costing like $80.
Yeah, it's like $80 to buy all the licenses.
All right, $80 for you to get what? 60 pounds of ground beef, ground deer. So you're doing it for sport, then, aren't you? Because if you think about what you pay,
you bought the gun, you bought your time out there.
With what you could buy with ground beef, you're probably investing more. So aren't you doing it for sport?
Beef can be pretty expensive.
Well,
okay, if you think,
so you compare it, it's about even.
So
probably.
I don't know, one pound of ground beef. What do you think that costs? Like $3-4?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't buy ground beef. We don't buy ground beef.
Well, okay. I think when I worked at Food Country, I feel like it costs like $3 or $4 because we go on sale. You can get like 20 pounds of ground beef.
But still, do you do it to save money? Can you sit here and tell me for 100% right now the reason you hunt is to save money?
Nobody can say that.
Nobody can say that.
Somebody can say it, but
I don't hunt to save money. But it is a very
I think that's bad.
It's a driving factor. Like when I for this year, for example, Hunter and I didn't kill.
We killed one.
I killed
together.
One deer.
We only killed one.
We killed one, and we hunted a lot. Hunter and I hunted probably
every weekend. At least.
Every weekend, and I hunted all of Thanksgiving break.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I only killed one deer, and it didn't give us. It gave us maybe 7 or 8. It was a small deer, and it was all we had. Okay, and that if no one gave us any deer meat, we'd be out of deer meat, and we'd have to buy ground beef.
Right.
And Hunter and I strived to kill a deer this year because we were running out of ground.
Right. I just thought something crazy, but I'm not gonna. Okay, I'll say it real quick. So what I just thought was crazy about what you're just talking about. I thought of how vegans who are watching this, if there are vegans who are watching this, they would probably say that you killing a deer is more ethical than buying ground beef because the cows living a rough life. There's all this research about how agriculture, specifically cattle, cause climate change, but I'm not going to go into that.
No, let's not.
But basically, they would say that it's more ethical for you to kill a deer, wild game, than it is, even though they don't agree with that. They still don't agree with that. They would say that it's more ethical than killing a domesticated farm animal.
Right.
And so I just think that's interesting. Good point. So you guys who are vegans out there, take note of that.
We're killing wild game.
But it really is, everything we talked about, it really is all about perspective, and it's from where you're at. But one thing, I feel like I can speak for all of us on this, we kind of encourage you to do, like we said, respect each other's opinions, but not only respect it, take it into consideration. So, if you're a hunter and a vegan's talking to you, think about everything they say.
Yeah.
Jared says this a lot, but question everything. There's no reason for you to only believe something that you've heard, and you don't care about what other people say.
Yeah.
You should believe it too.
Yeah.
Or not believe it, but you should take it in take it into consideration. Just think about it. You don't have to change your opinions for somebody else, but think about it. Or if you're a vegan, listen to the hunter.
Yeah, this applies to everything, and that's my advice. Question everything. Be skeptical. Your parents, what they tell you when you're little, be skeptical of that. Be skeptical of what I trust these dudes with everything I got. Like I mean, I could tell them to do anything, and I would trust them. And
what's your social security number?
Well, okay, I don't trust them, but I trust these dudes a lot.
Right.
But if they come with me trying to tell me their opinion on something, I'm gonna believe what they say, like the facts that they say about it are true. But I probably am still gonna be skeptical. And I think if you're just skeptical about everything, you're able to form better opinions for yourself. And you're able to understand the other side well too. But just be skeptical of everything, question everything. It's always a good way to, that's a good mindset to have.
That's one thing. I actually learned this in class the other day. We were talking about it and talking about how the Greeks, this guy, what he would do is he would teach his people, argue one thing, argue what you want to argue, then argue for the other side.
Right.
Because his whole point was, you can't fully argue yours until you know how.
That's exactly right.
Until you know the other side of it.
And I've been told that a ton of times.
And Jared's in law school, so he can.
Not yet.
He's gonna be. When you see this, he's probably accepted. This is podcast.
I've been accepted, but I'm enrolling next year.
It's just. Don't you agree? Like, do you not think without seeing one side, can you argue yours? Because we actually talked about
Hunter,
not mentioning names, but we talked about this earlier. How some people argue and not know what they're arguing about.
I've had one philosophy class in my whole college career, and that is probably the biggest thing I've taken from it. Is when you argue somebody, know your other person's opinion better than you know your own.
Right. If you know what they're gonna say, you can counter everything that they have to say. You know their argument better than them. Then, I mean, you've won the argument.
And if you can still believe in yours after you know theirs better, then you know you're true to yourself. Yeah. So nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah, you can totally justify.
Because we're never gonna get to the point in this world where we all agree everything.
Yes.
So stick true to yourself, but be open.
Yeah.
Know other people's sides of it.
Well, we have a couple more questions, but I think that this podcast. This is really long podcast, but hey, we have to take advantage of the
being
video.
Together.
The video being together. I had a lot of fun with this. It seems like we had fun because we just now realized that the timer on the camera over there is getting pretty late now. But
it's been spicy.
It's been fun.
It's been a long time.
I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I don't know whose channel we're going to upload it on.
It's podcast 6, so it's... Well, if Elliott starts it, we can 100% promise you.
No, hold on, guys. I put a profile picture on my YouTube channel.
Ooh, he's getting serious. Upload.
Maybe he will.
I'm gonna give you an Instagram shout out right now.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out.
But
TakeSomeoneFIshing has almost 6,000.
6,000.
Bro, it's so close.
Let's
check it real quick.
Guys, if you haven't followed the Instagram account TakeSomeoneFIshing, please go do it. What we do is it's like a collaboration type page.
We post people's photos if you catch something good.
It's a curated content page. If you've ever heard what that is. Ooh, 5,946 followers. Hopefully,
we're going to hit it this week. We're going to
hit it before this podcast even comes out. But go check and see what we're at now, and then tell us if you follow down below. But go follow that account. We'll probably follow you back. We try to follow a lot of people back. And what it is it's just a bunch of fishing. Only fishing. We have a Take Someone hunting page too,
which Elliott runs.
Elliott runs a Take Someone hunting page.
So comment. Go to the Take Someone hunting and comment on it. Post more. That's all you need to comment. Because he does not post enough.
Hunter does most of the stuff on TakeSomeoneFIshing.
He's in law school. What can you say?
I'm not in law school, but anyway, we post a lot of fishing content. It's other people's content, but we make sure we do it with permission. It's for the most part,
we just try to get people out there.
Yeah, we give them credit.
We try to help other people. They help us. People tag us in posts. People DM us posts. We repost their stuff. It's a win-win for the most part. We haven't had any complaints about. We always ask for permission, and so we tag the people in it, and so it helps them just as much as it helps us. We had another technological issue.
We've been going too hard.
We've been going really hard. This is a really long episode is what we just found out. But
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And if you've made it to this point, you are a true fisherman, true hunter.
We'll give you a follow.
True outdoorsman. We will follow you back. Comment below.
They could have just skipped to the end.
Ooh. Yeah, ooh. Yikes. Yeah, sorry. Never mind.
If you tell us what happened at 34 seconds and 27 minutes, then...
What 27 minutes and 34 seconds.
All right. Definitely go check us out on social media. All of us will be linked below.
Right.
Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Hunter's channel. Like I said, I don't know whose channel this video is.
Subscribe to Elliott's future channel.
Yeah, subscribe. We'll link his future channel down below. So we'll have all 3 of our channels down below, as well as the Instagrams and the Facebook group for Take Someone Fishing.
Tell Elliott to post more.
Tell Elliott to post
hunting.
more. Tell me to post more. Tell Hunter to post more. We all need to post more.
Look. When I graduate, it's gonna happen.
Oh. That's news right there. He never told me he was going to make a YouTube channel.
Like, Stephanie's going to buy a camera.
You go use her camera?
I'm going to use her camera.
Well, that works.
Okay, that works.
All right, guys. Definitely check us out on social media. Be sure to tune in next Sunday for another episode of Outdoor Talk. And as always, take someone outdoors.